Alright, so I'm Hannah Roberts, and this is my student introduction for this class. Alright, so a little overview about what my introduction would look like. First, I'm going to share a little bit of information about me. Then I'm going to share some personal and professional things about me and some goals I have as well. And then I'll share a memorable issue with gifted or advanced learners, and then I'll close out with the most and least favorite aspect of engaging gifted or advanced learners. All right, so first a little bit about me. I graduated in May, and I have started my first year of teaching this year, teaching middle school physical science in 8th grade. I teach at Youth Middle School, and that's in Walton County School District over in Loganville, Georgia. And so I live in Athens, and I commute back and forth every day. Some things about me personally and professionally. So I graduated in May with a bachelor's degree in middle grades education. And with that bachelor's degree, I was also able to go ahead and get my ESOL endorsement. And then now I'm pursuing a master's degree in middle grades education with the gifted endorsement. A professional goal of mine is to take on more leadership roles in school. So within the next 5 years, I would love to kind of step up and take on some more leadership activities, whether it be positive behavior, it could be something to do with RTI. I just want to kind of be more involved, but I also don't want to leave the classroom, so I don't ever see myself becoming an administrator or instructional coach or anything like that. But never say never. But I know I love building relationships with kids that want to stay in the classroom. And then a personal goal I have for myself is to move to Boston. So in the summer of 2018, I actually interned in Boston with a church plant. And so personally, I would love to move to the city within the next 5 years and teach vocationally. So teach in a Boston public school, but also work with the church plant while I'm there. All right, so a memorable issue dealing with gifted and advanced learners. So I kind of have two, one in the aspect of a teacher, and then one with the perspective of a student. So I think a memorable issue from a teacher's standpoint would be that some teachers don't necessarily receive the proper training on how to identify students who are gifted. And I saw that this year, my first year of teaching. I had a couple students who would be classified as gifted and eventually tested into gifted, but we were never really trained on how to see that, or we were never really trained on how to get them through the process that gets them to gifted. This year, they kind of just threw a tabs form at us and said, fill this out, but didn't really share like what it means to be gifted, how the different fields like cultural things, creative things, they didn't share how all those things could play a role. And so I kind of had this misconception that, oh, high achievers kind of fit more in the gifted category, but I've learned a lot since then in my first year of teaching. But I would say that would be an issue that I found with gifted and advanced programs, is that they're not really equipping teachers to be able to spot that in students. And then one thing I experienced as a student is I actually went through the gifted program all throughout school. And when I got to high school, I was in accelerated classes. But whenever I would finish things early or understand something maybe a little quicker than my peers, I noticed that my end result was always more work, and it was never anything that actually enriched my learning, which can kind of be disappointing for students and kind of make students not want to, finish early. That would be probably an issue I saw from a student standpoint. I know I'm a little over time, but I'm going to finish out here. So the most and least favorite aspect of engaging gifted learners, I actually haven't taught something that's labeled a gifted class. So I don't really have a ton of experience with this question. So I kind of answered it in a way of looking forward, what I anticipate being my most favorite thing and my least favorite thing. So I think my most favorite thing would be allowing the space for students to learn in their own way. They're taking charge of their own learning. They're being creative in the way they're thinking, which is good curriculum for any student. but it would be fun to kind of work with gifted learners and see how they learn best and help them learn more. And then my least favorite aspect of engaging gifted learners, I anticipate, would be balancing the workload. Because when you're planning lessons that are more creative and give students more of a role in the learning, it becomes a little more time demanding. And so I would worry about meeting the needs of all my students and creating a great lesson, and also managing other demands that come with teaching. And I know that not all students are gifted in the same way, so another kind of thing that makes me nervous about teaching gifted students is making sure that I'm meeting the interests and needs of all the students and not just kind of doing a general blanket lesson that I think would cover all of the students. So that's a little bit about me and a little bit of kind of where my head's at with gifted things. So I'm really excited to take this course, and I'm excited to learn more and maybe break some misconceptions and solidify some other things I may be thinking.